My name is Ralph Foulton. I'm Design Director at Playground Games, working on Forza Horizon. Well, it all started sort of summer 2010. We were fortunate enough to meet the Turn 10 guys at E3 in Los Angeles that year, and it really started quite informally. And we had dinner, so we talked about racing games, we talked about car culture, and Dan really shared his vision for the Forza franchise. And that was really the starting point for what organically became the Forza Horizon project. And it came from Dan really challenging us to think of something new that we could bring to Forza. Forza has been brilliant at expressing that vision, that getting people excited about cars through circuit racing. Track-based motorsport has been its expression of that core Forza vision, and all those other things that support it, painting, tuning, upgrading, they're really there to allow you to indulge your passion for cars and start shaving tenths of a second off your lap time. And really Dan's vision was that there's more to the car experience, there's more to how people enjoy cars in the real world, and we had a great track record of making racing games. He said, pitch me what you want to do with Forza. You don't get that opportunity every day, so we went away and we thought about it. And Forza Horizon, the name, the concept, is exactly what we came up with, over 2 years ago. We've set the game in Colorado, in the United States. We didn't really set out with any agenda as to where it should be set, and really top down our decision making process was pretty simple. We said, does it have to be a real place, a real location in the world? And we kind of thought, because Forza is about authenticity, that it did. If you make a fictional place up, it can tend towards being a bit generic, and that's not Forza, right? So we knew it needed to be a real world location. We really just started with a shopping list of criteria. These are the things that our world has to be. It has to be huge, it has to have great driving roads and a huge variety of different driving roads. It needs to be visually stunning, it needs to be environmentally diverse, and on and on and on. We had about 12 criteria in all. And we did really deep research on 28 different locations around the world. There was no prerequisite that it had to be in the US. We had locations in the States, in Europe, in Asia. And we scored each of those locations based on our criteria, what was really important to us, and Colorado came out on top. So that's why the game is set in Colorado, and to be honest, we're really pleased with that, because it does all of those things. It gives us amazing roads, gives us amazing views, a great diversity of terrain, so you can be driving along the freeway and there's desert, and then a couple of minutes later you're going through cedar groves and up through the foothills of the Rockies. There's always something new and visually stunning to discover. So we have probably 85, 86 full-time staff at Playground. I would be lying if I said absolutely every one of those guys is a car nut. That just doesn't happen. But I think what we have at Playground is quite a broad range of car passion. So Dan Greenawalt always talks about turning car lovers into gamers and gamers into car lovers. You've probably heard him say that. And I think probably our studio actually shows both sides of that equation. So we have guys who are absolute car nuts. There's nothing these guys don't know, and they do the whole gamut. They tune their cars, they take them on track days. Some of them build cars from scratch, So there's a real car passion there. A lot of guys are into motorsport, not so much into driving, but into going to motorsport events, and they can do that a lot in the UK, and all the guys go to Le Mans every year. But then on the other hand, there's the car lovers to gamers aspect of it. So I think a lot of the guys in the studio have become car lovers because of their relationship with cars in games, and that goes way back. I personally, the original Gran Turismo was one of my first experiences of that, but this generation, you can only really talk about the Forza games as instilling that kind of car passion. So there's both sides to it in our studio. First and foremost, we want to reward loyalty in Forza fans. So if you have a save game from Forza 3 or a save game from Forza 4, when you boot Horizon, not immediately but after the introductory sequences, Horizon is going to recognise that save game, and it's going to reward you with a bunch of cars based on the level you attained in those two games. So right from the start, if you've played the series before, and particularly if you played it in depth before, really poured in the hours, we're going to give you a bunch of cars, and really cool cars at that, to start your career in Forza Horizon. Now you mentioned the livery editor, and again we acknowledge that lots of people spend a lot of time creating paints for their cars. What we're going to allow you to do is bring across your vinyl groups from Forza 4 and bring them straight into Forza Horizon and apply them to cars in Forza Horizon, to decorate your own cars, to paint your own cars, or to sell those online at the storefront. You can make some money. So it depends what you mean by tuning. So if you're talking about the really low level tuning of gear ratios or damper settings, that's not something that we've incorporated into Forza Horizon. In Forza Motorsport, our data shows that people tend to use specific tunes for specific tracks, right? You tune a car specifically for Silverstone and differently for Laguna Seca. You can't tune a car for Colorado. We have such a diversity of roads and environment styles that it's just not possible. But what we do allow, obviously, with the upgrade system, and then we've brought upgrades wholesale across from Forza 4, is that you get a much more broad level ability to tune a car. If you want better suspension settings, then you're going to install the sports suspension or the race suspension. The same goes for tyres and grip levels. And there's so many different ways that you can broadly tune a car. You can make it more appropriate for off-road or less, that you still have that ability, and you can save out those upgrade settings and share them in the game. So we have car clubs, which you'll have seen in Forza 4. Car clubs exist in Forza Horizon as well. In fact, there's a location that you might have seen at the Horizon Festival. You can go there and you can set up your own car club and invite your friends. And as usual, we have the same options. You can be the leader, you can appoint co-leaders, you can invite people to it, or you can join one of your friends' car clubs. And it's great for being able to share cars and set up that kind of competitive element as well. So the world that we've created in Horizon really is epic in scale. It's a vast open world for you to explore. There are hundreds of miles of road for you to discover, and a real diversity of locations as well, from the deserts to the foothills up into the Rocky Mountains. There are towns as well as rural locations. So we're just saying at the moment, we're saying hundreds of miles of road, and we're going to leave it to you to explore. So on day one, we're going to be launching a DLC car pack, and we're also going to be giving away one of the cars from that. We're going to have DLC car packs for you every month from launch, and then on December 18th, 2012, we're going to have the first Horizon expansion pack, and more details about what exactly that will entail will follow after launch.